Well, viewers, let's take a vote. Should I leave this on the bike or should we remove it? Leave your vote down in the comment section below.
Viewers, I didn't think I'd have to go down to Harbor Freight. I sent the wife down to get it. She's such a sweetheart. But I took it out of the box. Guess what? No grinding wheel. I should have known better. Should have told her to make sure it came with a grinding wheel, if not buy some. So I guess I got to go to Harbor Freight. This has all been stripped now. We stripped out the mounting places for the steering column mount and the steering box mount. And I also stripped out the brackets because the paint buildup was tremendous on this, and it was really difficult to get it off. So you can imagine what it'd be like trying to get it on. So I'm trying to make it easy. Okay, all the front end is all feathered out. It's ready to be spot primered on both sides. You run your hand across it and it feels just as smooth as a regular surface. I just cleaned this up, getting ready to sand this all down. I decided I'm going to go ahead and sand it down, work my way to the back. When I get to the back, then I'll do the grinding. I still need to go down and get my grinder disc, but I've been keeping busy with this stuff, so just keep going on it. Because once you flip it over, the bottom side will be a lot easier because I'm doing the tops and sides all the way down. So when I do the bottom side, it'll be a little bit easier. So I've been kind of working, flaring these out. So flare all this out. They put a scratch in it right here, I think. So I'll have to see what I can do with that. But basically, we're moving. We're getting places. Now, look how pukey that looks. So definitely going to go with red. That pumpkin orange just is not going to do the job. Well, viewers, we got the grinder. And got the little face master on this light. Well, viewers, let's let the grinding begin. Kind of push it and toggle. That needs more, a little bit more in here too. So this side's pretty good. So we'll catch up with you when we get this all done, and we'll probably we'll take the sanding disc and go over all this with the sanding disc, get it nice and cleaned up and feather out all this stuff. Kind of cut into the paint here. No problem. I'll smooth it out. Well, viewers, we got all the grinding done and we got all the feathering done, and I decided just to go ahead and sand out the whole bike. I sanded out with some 80 grit. Now I'm getting ready to go down to some 60. Go with some 60 and then some 100. But I think I'm just going to leave it like this, flip it over and do the other side, get the other side done, and then finish that up and then sand this side with the 60 and 100. Now we're ready to spot prime. This take a lot longer than I expected. Well, viewers, we got this bottom part pretty much all sanded out. We just need to sand this side a little bit with some. I did the 60, then the 80, and now I'm doing 150, and it's got a nice little kind of like a velvet feel to it. That's what we want.
So the primer is going to stick good, and it's going to give us a good sanding surface for the 600 paper. So we're looking good. So I normally would paint it tonight, but it's that season where we got a lot of gnats, and for some reason they come out at night, and they're so small they can come through that vent, and they're just everywhere. If I have this on, I just bugs everywhere, so I don't want to get bugs on the paint. So the best time to do it is tomorrow morning. So I'll just finish this up, turn it over, and do the 60 and the 150 on the top side, and it's ready for primer. Spot primer, and then we got to rub it out. Spot primer, probably 2 coats. Rub it out and see what we have. Touch up anything we need to touch up, and then flip it over, do the same thing. Then we paint the whole bike, primer it, and then we rub it all out, and then I better go down and get paint pretty soon. Well, viewers, we got this thing shiny side up now, so all we got to do to it now is sand the top and the sides and the edges with the 60 and the 150 grit, and then they'll all be sanded. And I decided I'm going to do that tomorrow. I decided I'm going to go down to Pep Boys, and I'm going to get some Bondo, and I'm going to Bondo these out. This side's not too bad. It's got one little dent right there. I'll Bondo that. I'll Bondo that a little bit, so they'll look decent. So who's going to know other than me and these 4 walls? Well, just in case some of you are wondering what I'm going to be doing about these open holes, and probably wondering, well, why didn't you just have them welded up? The reason is because why spend the money? You have these little caps you can buy online, and you just put them on here, and just take a mallet, knock them in, like so. This one, and I have enough of them to do all those, and also the ones on the other side. So that's why I didn't have them welded up. Much easier. If you're interested in getting some of these, I'll leave it in the description box below where I got those, and a link. So that's how we're dealing with that. Nice thing is I can paint them, but I'm going to leave them black. Well, viewers, we got this frame pretty much ready for paint, for the primering. We still haven't gone down to Pep Boys to get this. I'm going to pick that up today. Yesterday I was going to do it, but we had to take the car to the Nissan dealer. We had a couple little problems for him to take care of. So my wife's on the way down to pick it up now, so I'll be able to get the Bondo, and I just figure I'm going to Bondo these out so they match pretty nice. So I'll spend the extra time. And one thing about painting, if you want it to come out looking nice, you need to take the time to prep it properly. So prepping could take 90% of your time painting than the actual painting, if that makes any sense. Otherwise, it takes a lot longer to prep the bike than to actually paint it. So I'm taking the time to prep it properly, and so it'll come out looking professional. So it's worth the extra time for as I'm concerned. So we'll catch up with you once we get the Bondo on and get it sanded out and see what it looks like. Okay, viewers, I wasn't gonna video this, but I figured why not. Get ready to mix this up. I read the instructions. We're basically ready to go. I'm opening up the filler. Basically, I got a spoon out 1/2 inch by 3 inch wide, and then 3 inches of this, and then mix it up. But I got an old screwdriver here I don't care about, so I'm going to use that to mix it up. There's some separation in there, so I'm going to mix up this filler real good. I want to be spending time mixing that up, because you only get 3 to 4 minutes before it starts to cure. So they suggest you just wipe it one time and let it dry, and then put another one on top of it. Of course, they want you to sand it down. And this looks pretty mixed up now. I don't see any of that crap. I got some old teaspoons here I don't care about. So we're just gonna add a saturated towel here with that Goo Gone on it. So I should wipe this off pretty good. There you go. It's all cleaned off. Alright. 1/2 inch high, 3 inches. Close. That's pretty close to 3 inches, and that's pretty close to a 1/2 inch, so I'm going to leave that. Call that good. Okay. 3 inches, yeah, about a 1/2 inch. So now I need to lay out this stuff 3 inches long. So just that over to the end, one side to the other. There we go. A little bit more than I need. That off to the side. Mix this up fast. You gotta make sure it's all the same color. Hoping this won't get both sides done. Looks pretty good, fairly mixed to me. So the plan is I'm just gonna take this and put it on like that, and then take this one that's firmly pressed down. And there we go. And this is what it looks like on for the first coating. It has to dry for 20 to 30 minutes, so I'll let it dry for like 45 minutes to an hour. And I'll come out here and they say sand it and then apply another coat. So that's what we'll do. Well, viewers, we got the second layer on there of Bondo, looking pretty good. That one might need one more. This one over on this side came out exceptionally well. I think that'll do that side. So let it dry and we'll sand it out and we'll see. This one still has a couple little dips in it. We'll fix those. Well, viewers, I got the second coat on it and I sanded out. We still got a little low spot right there. We're gonna fix that. And this one's pretty good. Just right there, just a little tiny bit. We'll fix that. This side came out perfect. A little bit, but I think with the sanded out with some 150 and primer, that'll be fine over there. So I need to mix up just a little bit more and put a little bit right there. And that, it'll be ready for spot priming tomorrow. Well, viewers, we got the third layer on both sides. I went ahead and did that side too. So I think that's going to do it. Just sand that out, paint it, we'll know the difference. And then there's some wide spots right here where it's bent, but it's not that bad. So it's going on 8:30, so it should be dry by about 9 or so, and I'll sand it out and call it a night, and hit this thing first thing in the morning and start doing our spot priming. Well, viewers, I sand down the third layer of Bondo and it's perfect. I sprayed some water on it to look at the gloss on it, make sure it looks even. I was looking at the gloss and it looks perfect, and this side's perfect, so we're gonna leave it. So tomorrow morning we can get it ready for spot priming. Well, viewers, we got our first coat of primer, spot primer that is, spot primer in it, and getting ready to shoot it one more time. And we'll let it dry until tomorrow, and then we'll flip it over. And well, viewers, we got that second coat of primer on the spot primering. You can see how good those dents came out. Looks real good. And then we lightly dusted the bike because we did I actually did 3 coats on all these bare metal pieces, and then I lightly went over the bike. So this is basically ready to be sanded down with some 400 or 600 wet and dry. And what I'm trying to do, I'm just trying to fill the pores of the paint, because I noticed when I was sanding I could see little pores in it. So that will fill that in. So we'll flip it over tomorrow morning. We'll let it dry tonight. Flip it over tomorrow morning, do the same thing on the bottom side, and then we can start sanding this thing out, get it ready for final primer paint. Well, viewers, we got this bottom part all done. We did a coat, or 2 coats, or 3 coats actually, on the steel, and did a good coat on the bottom. So that's done. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let this bake in the sun, and for a couple hours, and turn it over and let the top part bake. I'm going to bake it out here all day long. It's quite warm out, and bring it in the garage this evening and let it cool down, and first thing tomorrow morning we'll start rubbing it out and see if we find any bad spots, take care of those, and then shoot it with the primer for the last coat of primer, and it'll be ready for paint. Well, viewers, I'm back up on the fence again with the paint. Red, and then I'm thinking yellow. I always wanted a yellow bike, and I'm thinking about a yellow, but this is like more of a sun yellow. I'd rather go to a little darker yellow. So we'll see what we can find. So I'll be looking at the reds and looking at the yellows, and it will come down to how much they have on hand and how much it costs. Well, I did run into a little bit of a problem with this this candy orange, metal flake candy orange, because I want to do stripes on the bike with it. I'll have to lay it down about that wide, then tape over that with my 1/8 inch tape I'm getting, and then respray the paint on it. But I generally want to do that after I get it all primered up. That's the first thing I put on before I paint it. And the problem is I'm going to need another kit of that stuff, and I got online and none available. So I'm limited to what I can do, or I get in touch with the seller and find out if he can get me some and how soon he can get it, because I definitely want to do that striping around the frame. It's going to look really cool, and I think I decided to go with yellow. Well, viewers, we got this thing flipped up, shiny side up. It baked for about 2 hours on the bottom side, so now I'm letting it bake up on this side. I just want to point out something. You got little holes like that to plug up, and like this. What I do is I take a paper towel and I put it in my mouth and make it like in a spitball, and you just compress it, and it'll stay right in there. Keep the paint off the threads. Here I just put craft paper. Good enough. For the smaller holes I used like for the brake one, the brake pin that goes through here, I put paper towels through it. Hopefully that'll work. Well, viewers, I thought I'd give you the information how I'm going to do the striping on this bike. This orange, candy orange metal flake. How I do it, it requires 2 tapings. The first taping is what I call a block taping. You block out wherever you want the stripes, and you then, once you do that, cover up the bike and spray it with this first. Then I ordered some more green tape, such as this, but I got some thinner ones. I got a 1/4 inch and I got 1/8 inch coming. And what we'll do then is we put on the stripes where we want them with the 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch tape it out, pull up the block tape, lightly sand it, then paint it the yellow color, the outer color. Then once the yellow is on and it's dried and you got it where you want it, then you pull the tape up, the 1/8 inch wide tape, 1/4 inch tape, whatever tape we use for the striping, pull it up. And that will be the end result, because that's basically what I did to this one. They had the base color, I just put this piece of tape across it. I painted it with the pumpkin orange right over it. And that's how I did it. And I believe that's how you do it. So, meticulous, takes time and effort, but because I am going to be showing this bike, I want it to be a little bit on the different side. Not your typical paint jobs, you know. So, wish me good luck. In fact, this is pretty much the way I did this one. I just taped this off because this is already pre-painted, and then I painted the pumpkin orange over the tape, and I pulled the tape up, and that's the result. So then what I would do is I would put in the thinner tape and then do the painting instead. Well, viewers, it's been sitting out in the sun all day, so I'm gonna bring it in and set it in the garage, let it cool down, and tomorrow morning we'll start rubbing it out with some 400 and 600 wet and dry. Well, viewers, it's a super hot day today. I got up late today. I wanted to get up at 7 o'clock. I didn't get up till like 12:30 this afternoon. I stayed up real late last night, or this morning. I went to bed around 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning. So I'm getting off to a late start, so the garage was super hot. So I had to open up the side door, crank up the air conditioning on the lower floor, put a fan here, blow some of that in here. It's cooled down here quite a bit, so it's nice enough where I can actually work in here. It's probably about maybe 78, 80, not bad. So anyway, I got a spray bottle here. I just use a spray bottle, spray it on, and we're ready to start sanding down. I got some 800, or some 600 rather. We're gonna sand this thing down with some 600, and I got some 320 on a block, so I can block sand these, where these steering columns mount onto the bike. Remember, the bike's upside down. So we want to get this thing all rubbed out, and any flaws we find, fix those, and do the final primering. Well, viewers, I flipped this shiny side up, so the bottom side's all been rubbed out. I even rubbed out the sides. So all I got to do is just the top portions on the bike. All that up there's all done. So just rub this out with 600, and it came out really good on the bottom. There's one flaw so far I found that I need to fix, but that's it so far, so that's not bad. Well, viewers, we got this thing all sanded down with the 600. It's smooth as a baby's ass, the whole thing. I only found one flaw, and that's pretty doggone good. So we're ready to put the final primer coat on it, and then we rub it out with some 800, and that's ready for paint, basically. So I'm going to wipe it down because I see some water spots here and there on it. So wipe it all down, and well, viewers, we got the last coat of primer on the top. I'm going to let this dry, flip it over and do the bottom, and then we'll rub it out with 800, and then we're ready to block it for the striping, and we'll be ready to paint it after that. Well, viewers, it looks like we finally got this thing through prep. Only thing that's left to do now, we got the final coat of primer on it. All we need to do now is rub it out with some 800, and I don't have to wait until tomorrow. Which reminds me, we're at that 30-minute mark, so we're going to bring this part 11 to a close. And subscribe, make sure you mash that notification bell so you can kind of keep up with this quadricycle project. And if you have any criticism, concerns, comments, questions, leave it in the comment section down below. I'll be more than happy to read those. Also, I want my viewers to know, if you haven't missed a few episodes, no problem. They're down in the description box below, 1 through 10. Until next time, as I always say, if I can do it, you can do it.